They get albuterol. How often should we be taking albuterol?
Rescue.
4 hours per period. You can take it every 2.
Do we want patients at home taking albuterol all the time?
No.
How often should they in reality be using it?
Once a week.
No more than 2 or 3 times a week, okay? But if my patient has asthma, what else do they get?
A lava.
5 days of black steroids.
No, I'm talking about respiratory meds now, besides for that they go home with a couple steroids. My patient is on, so we got them on albuterol PRN. They're having to use it every day. What do we add next?
You need a maintenance.
Asthma, no, you talked about prednisone. I'm talking about respiratory inhaled medications. What's the next step? Steroid.
You like Silicon or something?
Asthma patients, they get albuterol PRN, and if that's not working by itself, the next step is an inhaled steroid. After that, they get a LABA. You guys are messing up the order.
Yes.
So, asthma patients get steroids first because the biggest part of their problem is the inflammation. So, they would get albuterol PRN, everybody gets that, and some people can just be fine with albuterol PN, but most patients are going to need more than that. So the steroid is next, so the inhaled steroid. If that's not working, patient's still having attacks, then we're going to add the LABA. And now with asthma patients, we actually can give them Spiriva as well. It's proven to be effective. So, and then you just adjust doses at that point. So if they're still having, everything about these patients is keeping them in control. So if they're still having exacerbations more than 2 or 3 times a week, something needs to be changed in their medication. So you either need to add something or go up on the steroid dose. So that's how those patients work. So worst case scenario, patient had to be intubated. What are we gonna put them on? What mode? ACPC. This patient is going to be a nightmare to ventilate, which is why we only would put them on if we absolutely have to. Low tidal volumes, so 4 to 6 mLs per kilogram. (40 to 60% FiO2). It's not likely they'll need 100%. So I'll say 40 to 60, keep stats greater than 90%. So you just have to follow your rules at that point. And standard P.
What's the 40 to 60?
FiO2. Short eye times. So under special considerations, I'm going to put short eye times. That's part of why we use the lower tidal volumes. The patients need long E times so they can exhale. This is going to be an air trapping nightmare. Yes?
I keep getting in the book and in like the some of the modules and stuff we're doing, they always like above 92. Is it all dependent?
I would say if it's a kid, to keep them above 92. If it's an adult, usually we say above 90. But yeah, pediatrics, you need to keep in mind that they would need to have a higher saturation. It's pretty standard that peds are above 92, 93, adults above 90. So we can just put greater than 92 for peds. So short eye times, long E times, air trapping is a big problem. You may even consider just putting them on pressure support because they just need the added help with their tidal volume. So if you put them on pressure support, it lets them control everything. Because sometimes no matter what you do with these patients, you just can't get them to synchronize with the vent because they're just so tight. It's very, very hard to ventilate. So you consider just plain old pressure support as well. You want to try to do anything you can just to try to keep them ventilated. then fast wean. As soon as that constriction is gone, get them off the vent. Some people will try BiPAP. It's really not a gold standard right now to do that, so it's just something you might see in the clinic site. So I'm not really going to write it on there, but I just want you guys to be aware that you might see them on BiPAP. Sharon, did you have something to add?
I would say Heliox.
Oh yeah, thank you. Heliox. That's very important. What you guys know about Heliox?
It works really good.
It works really good for asthma patients. Why?
Because it's like lighter and it like drops down, and it will carry the medication with it. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a lot lighter. So because it's a lot lighter, so the airflow. So could we have turbulent airflow or laminar? Laminar's nice and happy airflow, right? So if you have all this inflammation and constriction, turbulent airflow, it's very hard to get the air and the oxygen in the patient. So Heliox is used to transport the oxygen molecules. So it's lighter, it can be more laminar, so it can get further down. So it's actually a carrier gas. So it's gonna carry the oxygen down to where it needs to go. So it's actually very effective in asthma and patients with upper airway obstruction. So like a tumor or something like that.
Did you say high-pitched squeezing is better than low-pitched squeezing?
No, I did not.
Right. So Heliox helps the patient be more high-pitched, right?
What? Yes.
How is it
Oh,
like
in
used
re-
for
oh, I
testing
see.
for Heliox? Like, do they just hook it up or?
It's I've never actually used Heliox. Sharon, have you? Can you kind of explain